Yes, hello learning engineers, it's Joel Birunji. Welcome to our channel. Today I want to teach you how to use a tape measure while at site. It's one of the challenging tools to learning engineers, and we are expected to know how to use this tape measure. If you get to opening your tape measure, realize that it has different markings in different colors and different strips. What are these markings and what do they represent? At the end of this video, I want you to build your confidence in using a tape measure as a learning engineer. So if you get to opening your tape measure, realize we have them in different brands and different sizes. For instance, this is a 5 meter and this is a 3 meter, but that one doesn't change the way we are using them. So you get to realize different brands and different meters, then we see that they have the same scale. I mean, you see the upper scale and the lower scale, upper scale and the lower scale. What are these scales for and how do we use them? What are they called? Something fundamental for engineers to know. How do we call these? Yes, the upper scale is called the metric scale. Yes, and the lower scale is called the upper scale is called the imperial scale and the lower scale is called the metric scale. The upper scale measures in inches and feet and the lower scale measures in millimeters and meters. So while we are at site, mostly in African sites, we always use the metric scale, the one in millimeters, centimeters, and meters. So before we get to our actual tape measure, I would like to show you how these conversions are. For instance, if we have to use the metric scale, how do we use it? We take these standards and we want to explore our metric scale. We all know as engineers that in 1 centimeter, we have 10 millimeters. Let's go and trace this on our tape measure. From our metric scale, which is the lower scale, we are saying that 1 centimeter has 10 millimeters. So now the centimeters are expected to be on the metric scale, the lower scale. And these are these big digits that you look at. These are all centimeters. 5 centimeter, yes, 6 centimeter, 8 centimeter until to 10. Then you run and run. Those are all centimeters until the tape measure ends. Let us look at this sense of 1 centimeter having 10 millimeters. If you get to look at our tape measure, from the start of it, we have a 1 and we have smaller strips to 1. These smaller strips are supposed to be 10. So these 10 smaller strips, which are millimeters, are making 1 centimeter. So now, these smaller strips are millimeters. And between each centimeter, we look at these smaller units or strips, which we are calling millimeters, and they are supposed to be 10. If you have to run maybe from here at 40 and then 1, then these smaller strips, these ones here, are called millimeters and they're supposed to be 10, making a centimeter. 10 millimeters making a centimeter. Yes, let's look at another standard. We all know that if we run to 100 centimeters, they always make 1 meter. And how does it look like? How do we trace it? From our metric scale, which measures in millimeters, centimeters, and then meters. Yes, we are saying that when we go from centimeters and 90 centimeters and then 100 centimeters, they make 1 meter. So 100 centimeters make 1 meter. So now here we are at 1 meter. So the moment you get to 100 centimeters, we are in meters. Yes, that is 110 meters, then 120 meters, like that. Yes, now it is crucial for you to know that the smallest unit here is a millimeter, those smaller strips, and then having them 10 make 1 what? 1 centimeter, and then 100 centimeter make 1 meter. So from there now we can learn how to use it. How do engineers ask for these measurements? What do they tell you to measure, and how do you come and get it from your tape measure? Now, for instance, we are told to go and measure off 50 centimeters or 60 or 65. Yes, we now all know that we shall get to our metric scale and get the 50 centimeters, and we know these are the centimeters. We go and find 50 centimeters, which are these ones. These would be 50 centimeters. Then 60 centimeters, these are 60 centimeters. 65 centimeters. So now if these are 60 centimeters and you know that from 60, you have to count 10 millimeters to get a centimeter. It means now this is a centimeter. Now these are 62, 63, 64, 65, then 66 centimeters. Yes. So now this is the only complex way you can be told to go and measure and be confused. But as an engineer now, we are told to measure off 1 meter. For instance, they can tell you 1.0. You just know it's 1 meter. They might not tell you meters, but they say go and measure 1.2 or 1.34 or go and measure 1.34. I mean 1.234. How do we trace this? Yes, now on our metric scale we know if they say 1.0, you know it very well, that is 100 centimeters. 1.0, that will be 1 meter. When they say 1.2, you know that will be 120 centimeters, right? When they say 1.34, so now 1.3, you know that is a 1.3, right? When they say 1.34, you say 1.3, then you look for a 4, which is this one, right? So now 1.3 will be the meters, then the next digit will be 4, that will be a centimeter, right? And then the fourth digit from the point, the third digit from the point will be a millimeter. Then from the 4, you will just need to count those smaller strips. If it is 1.34, it means that is 1.3, then 4, right? Then the next digit, for instance, if it is 3, you just count these smaller strips. Let's go to the board and try to clarify this. If we are told to measure off 1.34, you know that one point, the moment we go in points, those are meters. So 1.34 on your tape measure, you know you just come for a 130, right? That will be a 1.3. Then, yes, then the 4, okay, the 4 will be the centimeter that adds up from 130. It means now you go to 130, then point the 4, which will be the centimeter. But when we get to this, right, this is a 1.234. You know that is a 120. Those are centimeters, right? That is 120 meters. Yes. 1.2, those are 120 meters. Then this 3 will be the centimeters that add up in from 120, the 3, right? And then this 4 will be the smaller millimeters, right? So now for something like this 1.234, okay, let's get to the tape measure and we look at it. But before we go there, you know 1.2, that will be 120, right? Then the 3 will be the centimeter that adds up from 120, and then the 4 will be the small strips of millimeters. Yes, now if this is the digit 1.34, we are saying that the 1.2, we know it is 120, right? And then the 3 will be the centimeters that add up from 120, and then the 4 will be the smaller strips which make millimeters from the 3, which is 1, 2, 3, then 4. Yes, then 4. So now 1, 2, 3, 4. 1.234, 120, right? And then the 3, the centimeters that add up from there. Then the 4 will be the smaller strips that add from 3. We can count 1, 2, 3, then 4. This is how we use a tape measure on the metric scale. In the next video, we shall be looking at the imperial scale in inches and feet. Thank you.